capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
Michael Saylor has long been one of Bitcoin's most vocal and not to mention most informed advocates. But his recent discussions with lawmakers and political leaders have taken his mission to another level. With Donald Trump now expressing support for a U.S. crypto reserve, Saylor's influence appears to be at the heart of a major shift in financial strategy. Could the idea of a government-backed Bitcoin fund really be the key to solving the national debt crisis? And more importantly, is this a sign that cryptocurrency is finally being recognized as a cornerstone of the modern economy?
I've met with a bunch of senators on the Democratic and the Republican side, a bunch of Congress people, a few members of cabinet, a few members of the administration, and anybody that wants to talk. You know me, for the last 4.5 years, I'm willing to talk about Bitcoin to anybody, anywhere in the world, every day.
Saylor has been relentless in spreading his message about Bitcoin's potential. His meetings with U.S. lawmakers suggest that the tide may finally be turning. What was once dismissed as a fringe asset is now being considered for inclusion in a strategic government fund. But the big question remains, why would the U.S. government need Bitcoin in the first place?
Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion.
Saylor makes it clear that Bitcoin isn't just another currency. It's an entirely new asset class that stands to rival the biggest markets in the world. If the U.S. fails to recognize this, other nations will fill the gap. The argument is simple. Invest now while Bitcoin is still undervalued, or risk losing economic dominance to countries that do.
The AIs, the foreigners, the Europeans, the 20th century capitalists, they're all going to cyberspace. And so the United States has the ability to buy this for a nickel and pay off the national debt.
To Saylor, the opportunity is as historic as purchasing the Louisiana Territory or buying Alaska. He views Bitcoin as the most valuable economic asset of the 21st century, capable of transforming national wealth if the U.S. acts quickly. But just how realistic is this vision, and how would such an initiative even be funded?
I mean, I think that I'd leave that to the president's working group. They'll eventually decide what they want to do and the scale they want to do it. There are a dozen people on it, the head of the Treasury, the SEC, the CFTC, Commerce, the Attorney General. The president, I'm sure, will opine.
While Saylor might not be the one making the final decision, his influence on policymakers is undeniable. The involvement of top financial regulators, government officials, and even Trump himself suggests that Bitcoin has moved beyond being a speculative asset. It's now a strategic economic tool.
That's actually why most of the focus is on the digital commodity. And that's what makes Bitcoin special. Satoshi was the insider. He left 1 million Bitcoin for all of humanity forever and walked away without ever benefiting. And that's what makes Bitcoin special.
Saylor's philosophy centers on the idea that Bitcoin is different from anything that has come before it. It's not controlled by any corporation, government, or central bank. It belongs to the people. That's what makes it the perfect foundation for a financial revolution. Michael Saylor's discussions with lawmakers and Trump's increasing interest in Bitcoin suggest that cryptocurrency's role in global finance is evolving faster than many expected. What was once considered a niche technology is now at the forefront of economic strategy. The idea of a U.S. Bitcoin reserve is no longer just speculation. It's being actively considered at the highest levels of government. But is this truly the beginning of a Bitcoin-driven economic strategy for the United States? Or is it just another political move to capitalize on crypto's growing influence?
We have till July 22nd when the digital assets framework and recommendations from the executive order are due on the president's desk. It should be interesting to watch what happens between now and then.
Will the U.S. government embrace Bitcoin as a strategic asset, or will regulatory roadblocks keep it at arm's length? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.